Hari Om, let's start with the first chapter, or they call them here mantra 1. So the mantra 1 is purpose of the Upanishad. It's called like that. And here you can see you've been given Sanskrit and also transliteration. I'll try to read it. Yoga Chudamani Vakshe Yoginam Hitakamyaya Kaivalya Siddhidam Gudam Sevitam Yogavitam Mamai. And here's the translation of each of the term. What does it mean? And you always understand there's always different interpretations, different words you can interpret it with. Translation is, for the benefit of yogis, I gave out the crown jewel of yoga. It is a secret or doctrine which gives the power of emancipation, and it's practiced by those who are well versed in yoga. So in reading the first script, it's embedded that it's quite advanced practitioners. It's been given as a gift, and it's the crown jewel of yoga, and it gives you the power of emancipation, and it's basically liberating practices which we all should practice. And there's a commentary, so it's not a very big one. I will read it and then I will discuss it. Commentary. The literal meaning of Yoga Chudamani is the crown jewel of yoga. This text is one of the Yoga Upanishads that describes the esoteric principles of yogic science. The purpose of this Upanishad is to indicate the process of self-evolution through the path of kundalini yoga. Mere intellectual concepts lives nowhere in yoga. Practice is necessary, and the techniques referred to in this text must be mastered with the guidance of a competent preceptor or guru. Only those aspirants who are initiated and have established themselves in the preparatory and basic stages of yoga can practice the esoteric aspects of yoga. The mantra dictates that only those aspirants who are already established in yoga will be following the instruction of the Upanishad. Therefore, the doctrines presented here have been termed as secret. That's the explanation why it's a secret or doctrine. The esoteric aspects of yoga cannot be understood or applied by the average mind. They are accessible only to those aspirants who progressively go through the higher stages of yoga and ultimately attain kaivalya, or liberation, that's word. In the process of awakening, the aspirant evolves from one stage of practice, perception, knowledge, and perfection to the next. So here they do say the purpose of Upanishad, and traditionally, through the many thousands of years when people practice yoga, in the ashram system, how it works, it's a very specific way how the teacher gives the practices to the aspirant or the student. And traditionally, you have to kind of like prove that you're worthy. So you go through a lot of, just doing the chores around the ashram before you even start doing any practices of yoga. In today's world, anybody can pay money to any guru on this planet, I believe, who are available, and they can share the deepest secrets of the highest esoteric practices to them. But you can just believe in the word. And when I ask people in the class, I say, "Do you practice yoga?" And they say yes. And what does it mean? I've been 15 years embedded deeply in my everyday practice, and I read texts and stuff. Or I've been 3 times in some fitness club, and I've been in the class of stretch. So what is your yoga practice? What is your understanding of yoga at all? So that's kind of reflected that you should be a little bit familiar before you go into deeper practices. And why they give you this warning is just because, as I told you before in my previous videos many times, yoga can stop the processes awakening of, for example, kundalini, even though, or just any other, like you start feeling energy through the body when you start practice simple pranayama or just asanas. And people start, first of all, your something tendencies, like if you feel more, for example, you have some kind of fear coming through you, or tendency of your character, for example, you're very egocentric person. And if you have such an impulse of the energy coming through, and you didn't practice well enough, and you cannot control this energy, you will start draining it through something which not for example, your tendencies. For example, you like sophisticated tastes and food, and you have now so much energy, you have more energy to get even more sophisticated taste of food, you get even more sophisticated and complicated, and you start indulging yourself even more. That's very rough, but that's what I'm trying to explain. It could be something on different levels of your aspect as well. Or, for example, you're trying to love the world so much and giving yourself to everybody around, and then you start doing it more and more, and sometimes it will cause a very negative effect on people's life. So they deplete their energy, and they might even get depression or even sickness from that. So that's why we, as a yogi practitioner, we're always trying to figure out where the practitioner is in his life, with his tendencies, of his emotions, and mental busyness or mental tendencies. And we're trying to balance it out through the practice. And only then, when you balance out, you can start divert this energy into your stage-by-stage enlightenment of your brain, as I say, or kundalini rising. Enlightenment of the brain is kind of same thing, like a mirror itself. And only then these deeper practices will become efficient and beneficial. Yeah. And you can see it around yourself in some famous yoga teachers, or not even famous. You can see what it's too much energy. Like if you give to the poor, they say, for example, somebody win the lottery ticket, $1 million, and it can cause problem in their life rather than benefit. Not always, but tendency is quite apparent. So that was the first the mantra, and we'll see you in the next video. Hari Om.